Hello everyone, it's Enigma here. With the rumors of a July 20th Nintendo Direct, I decided that, it's time to finally talk about my predictions for a potential Nintendo Direct this, month. Now, I am completely aware this is just a rumor, and like with all rumors, every rumor has the possibility of being fake. But, with a lot of, the really credible insiders, kind of talking about this one, I kind of find it hard to believe that this one isn't real. And even if this one isn't real, I still think these are my predictions for the next Nintendo Direct we could possibly get, unless Nintendo pulls a Paper Mario or Origami King and just randomly drops a trailer for one of these things just on their YouTube channel out of nowhere. But for now, these are my predictions for the next Nintendo Direct. These are the ones I think I find the most reasonable, the ones that, seem the most likely to happen, and I completely aware that, probably none of this stuff will be revealed, but I do think it's fun to talk about, and I do think that, it's just fun to talk about the possibility of these predictions being real. And these are just currently what I'm betting on right now. So I think that the Direct will start off with 2D Metroid, a new 2D Metroid, because a lot of insiders are kind of suggesting we are going to be getting another Metroid, and I just think that it's about time. Samus Returns released quite some time ago, and, Metroid Prime 4 is obviously, coming a long time in the future. I just think it's really time for a new 2D Metroid, since I feel like Nintendo is gonna really want to, push Metroid a lot, at least until Metroid Prime 4 comes out. And then my next prediction still is in line with Metroid. And speaking of Metroid Prime 4, Nintendo gives an update on Metroid Prime 4. I personally don't think that they're going to show anything. That's probably, I have a hard bet that they're going to show Metroid Prime 4 next year. But as for this year, I'm less hopeful for, and I think that, with after the 2D Metroid thing, it can kind of coincide with, an update on Metroid Prime 4. Now, my third prediction is also a Metroid announcement, and to coincide with both of those Metroid announcements from previous, Metroid Prime Trilogy finally comes to the Switch, because again, a lot of insiders are suggesting that, the Metroid Prime Trilogy is going to be on the Switch, and I just feel like, it makes sense, for the people to catch up on the story of Metroid Prime 4. You can have the Metroid Prime Trilogy also available on the Switch for those who aren't aware of, the story, because Metroid Prime is a very story-heavy franchise, and I feel like it makes a whole lot of sense to bring the past Metroid Prime games to the Switch, especially so the newcomers can get caught up in the story for Metroid Prime 4. So I think that makes a whole lot of sense, and all three of those announcements seem pretty reasonable for the next Direct. I think that this Direct is going to have a lot of Metroid announcements. But anyways, as for my next prediction, No More Heroes 3, we get some gameplay shown, and we get a release date of September 18th, 2020. I think a September release date for No More Heroes 3 sounds reasonable. I am fully expecting us getting some No More Heroes 3, stuff in this Direct, and I feel like, the release date shouldn't be that far out. I know that, the pandemic going around is kind of, delaying things, so it could possibly be delayed to, 2021, but personally, I doubt it. I do think that they might have a September release date available to us, so my guess is that No More Heroes 3 is getting a release date of September 18th. Now, this one may be a stretch, but if you really think about it, this one probably isn't really a stretch. My fifth prediction is that we're getting the Tomb Raider collection coming to the Switch. Now, I do understand that, Tomb Raider, it probably won't happen, and this is probably the most out there prediction on my list, but think about it. Square has been porting a lot of their old games to the Switch. They have the old Final Fantasy games, and they have the old Dragon Quest games available to us. Tomb Raider is third, behind Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, and Tomb Raider is such a legendary franchise that, they'd be stupid not to have a Tomb Raider collection as well, since they already have that for Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest. So my prediction is that we are going to be getting a Tomb Raider collection, and especially since a lot of insiders are seeming to suggest that we're going to get some past Tomb Raider games on the Switch, just like what we had with Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest. And I think that now might actually be the time we could get that announcement. So even though this may sound like a stretch, really, if you think about it, this could actually be very plausible. And I actually do think this is pretty likely that we could be getting the Tomb Raider collection coming to the Switch. So that is my prediction for, this direct. Number 6, I think this is probably very reasonable, and this is probably one of the most likely things on this list, is that we're going to get the Crown Tundra gameplay, and my prediction is a release date of September 4th. I know that, the Crown Tundra, has a winter setting, so I don't know if they're gonna I don't know if they're going to have it for December, but for some reason, I just can't see them holding off on this until December, personally. But I do think that, I think the earliest that this could possibly come out is September 4th, and that's personally what I'm betting on, but I would not be surprised at all if it is December, since there's a winter, setting, and, we got the Isle of Armor in the summer, and it has a summer setting, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do hold off on that, but that's currently my prediction right now. Next up, we get a new trailer for Bravely Default 2, and we're getting a release date of August 28th, 2020. So, yeah, I don't think we have an August release coming up. So I think if there is a game that's probably going to get an August release, my guess is Bravely Default 2. Either that, or I could actually see No More Heroes 3 get an August slot. But personally, I do think that Bravely Default 2 has a great chance of releasing next month, honestly. That's really all I have to say for that. So, anyways, my next prediction is we're finally getting the release date of Crash 4 It's About Time coming to the Switch. I know that, it's planned to release for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, but currently we do not have a Switch release planned, and I think that's pretty weird, especially since we have the Insane Trilogy and Nitro Fueled coming to the Switch, and even the Spyro Trilogy. So it really makes me think that at some point, Crash 4 is going to be coming to the Switch as well. I don't know if it's going to be released on the same day as the other versions, but I do think that it's very likely we could very well see Crash 4 coming to the Switch eventually, just like the other Crash games. And I really hope so, because Crash has a lot of potential on the Switch. So, and it's really nice to take these Crash games on the go. So that's personally... I'm personally betting on that, and I do think that there's a damn great chance we could see the announcement for that at this Direct. So that's one of my predictions for this July 20th Direct. My next prediction is that we're going to be getting Rare Replay and Master Chief Collection coming to the Switch. I know, this may seem out there, and I still have not let go of at least Rare Replay, because I really want Rare Replay on the Switch. I haven't let go of this yet. I actually do think it's still a possibility, because insiders have said that both of these are coming to the Switch eventually, and I think that, it makes sense. Obviously, we have Banjo and Smash, and, it would be a really great missed opportunity to not bring those old Rare games over, especially with Microsoft's and Nintendo's relationship. And with that relationship, they can also bring over Halo, which is literally Microsoft's flagship franchise. I know that may seem out there, and this honestly might be a bigger stretch than the Tomb Raider collection, but you do have to remember some very credible insiders have suggested that both of these things will come to the Switch eventually, and I do trust these people because they have gotten a lot of things right, and I really do think that sometime eventually we will get these, games eventually, so that's personally what I'm betting on right now. Number 10 is a simple prediction. We get an indie and third-party montage like we usually do of just some minor indie games and some third-party games that are planned to come to the Switch. Um, the third-party games I mentioned earlier, I just think are enough to get headlines, but this third-party montage isn't enough to get the headlines, so I don't really have enough ideas for other third-party games they could bring over. The ones I just listed are the ones that seem the most likely to me and the ones that seem the most reasonable, but I can't think of any other third-party games they could bring over. So if you guys have any third-party ideas, let me know in the comments because I really have no idea. And same with indie games. I don't know what other indie games they could bring to the Switch that isn't on the Switch already, but I do think that, we are going to be getting some indie montage during this direct. So that's personally what I'm betting on. Now, the last two announcements, it's basically going to be like E3, because you have to remember that these are probably announcements that would have been revealed in E3 Direct. So with that mindset, I do think that instead of having one more thing, Nintendo is going to have two more things, especially like I'm thinking of a two more thing kind of deal, like they did last year, where the two things that they saved for last was Banjo and Smash and Breath of the Wild 2. So this year, I think that the two last things is going to be Geno is confirmed to be Challenger Pack 7 for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and he is scheduled to be released sometime in September. I am a firm believer that Geno is in Smash. I just feel like it's time. Like, Geno has the popularity, he has the demand. Geno, I get he's irrelevant, but you could say that for a lot of other characters, and there's no fan-made rules. Anyone is possible, and, Geno has the demand. Sakurai has acknowledged that fan demand, and we have, like, the other stuff, like the Mii costume hasn't returned yet, the copyrighted songs. There's a lot of stars aligning for Geno that a lot of people aren't really talking about because a lot of people believe Geno will never be in, but I feel like people will be in for a surprise because I feel like if there is any character getting revealed at this direct, Geno just seems the most likely to me, and I'd honestly be shocked if Geno is not in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at this point because he just seems so likely to me. And he's personally one of my most wanted, so I'd be so incredibly hyped if that is our next character. Like words cannot describe just how excited I'll be if Geno is confirmed to be Smash Ultimate in this July Direct. I'll definitely have a reaction to that. But yeah, there's not much really else to say other than that, except to get into the last thing that I have on my predictions, and this is Breath of the Wild 2 trailer and release dates. And the release dates I have is February 26th, 2021. I used to think that Breath of the Wild 2, was going to release in 2020, but with the pandemic, I think if there is any game that had a delay, I think it would be Breath of the Wild 2. And a February release date, or even a March release date seem the most reasonable to me. Obviously, I think this game will be releasing next year. There's really not much else to say. I think, they could show something like playable Zelda. They can obviously show more gameplay because we really haven't seen any. So I think that's a reasonable prediction, and I think that will be what will end the direct. That will, we'll supposedly have July 20th. They have to clarify because some people will look at this video and claim that I 100% believe this rumor, but that's not always the case. There's always red flags in rumors, and, we always have to take rumors with a grain of salt. But I do personally believe that it's most likely we are getting a July 20th direct, and if I had to bet, these are the things that I find the most likely, and these are the things I'm currently betting on for at least this year, and, well, in Breath of the Wild 2's case, next year. So Yeah, I think there's not much else to say other than that. So, what are your guys' predictions for this July 20th Direct? Do you guys even think we are getting a July 20th Direct or no? And if so, if you do believe we are getting one, what are your predictions for this July 20th Direct? Let me know in the comments down below, and I would love to hear it. Anyways, this has been Enigma, and peace. See you next time.